Welcome back to the channel, guys. In today's video I got some Corvette content lined up for you guys. We are going to be working on it today. I do have a little bit of time on my hands to get to it. We already did stop by the AutoZone. I picked up some new spark plugs. I looked it up online. They said the best ones to go to is with the AC Delcos, so that's what I went ahead and got. I did say in the previous video, the owner did put Motorcraft spark plugs. I think he did put it on one side only, and the other side I did see that they are the AC Delcos. I'm pretty sure it's the ones that I did buy, but once we get them out, we're gonna compare them, check the gap, see what it is. Hopefully once we replace those, the car does start. If not, we're gonna have to spend more money on this car, getting the Optispark replaced, because that's the only thing that I could think that it would be if it's not the spark plugs that are bad. If it was only the spark plugs, I feel like it would start, but it would just be running really, I guess, really like misfiring and everything. But I did see a video of a guy saying that one bad spark plug on these cars would literally mess up the whole car, as far as like, not running or any of that. So that was pretty interesting to find out. So we're gonna go ahead and start tearing down into that, taking off the spark plugs that are in the car currently, and we'll go ahead and replace those. Hopefully that's the issue. Who knows? We'll see further down in the video. But let's go ahead and get started. So here we got the new AC Delco spark plugs. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna compare them to the AC Delcos that were already on the car, not the Motorcraft spark plugs. But go ahead and take that one out. There you go. That is the new AC Delcos, and we are finna compare them to the old ones, which are these here. So looks like the same ones, to be honest. Yes, it does look the same. So I just checked the gap and put them both beside each other, and it does look like they are gapped to spec, so that's a good thing. But now that we know we got the spark plugs that we need, we're gonna go ahead and have to take the Motorcraft and the other ones off, and I'll probably find out what the Motorcraft ones go to, just because they are brand new. So I could probably give them to somebody that has a fit for these. But for now that we know we got the right spark plugs, hopefully this is the problem and the car starts. If not, like I said, we're gonna have to go to the Optispark and start making. Alright guys, so we just got this side done, the passenger side, and here goes the Motorcraft spark plugs that were on that side. Like I said, he only did the passenger side, so I guess the other sides are gonna have the other AC Delcos, but we'll still go ahead and take those off, and we'll start putting the new ones back on. But there's really nothing much to it. I got my 5/8 socket right there, and I mean, really you just gotta be careful not to torque it down too much, because you do have to torque them to spec. And luckily these spark plugs did come already gapped to where they're supposed to. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on the other side. So we are finally done. This side was the biggest pain in the ass, I would say. Especially this first spark plug over here on this side. Man, you just don't have enough room to work with. So what I did was I took the brake, the ABS part, so I could move it out the way and have more space to work. But even still with that, you still got a little bit of space to work with. But we did get the job done. I would say it's probably about, I could probably say it's about a 30-minute job. But I got the plugs all put back in and all that. And man, moment of truth, we're gonna see if the vet wants to turn on. If that is the problem, let's just hope that it is the problem, and hope that we don't have to change out the Optispark. But go ahead and get the keys. We'll go ahead and give this a try. This is gonna be my first time trying to start it. So let's hope for the best. Alright. So let this focus real quick. There it goes. Alright. So in the ignition. Okay. Come on, baby. Man, guess that was not the problem. Did want to start at first though. So, got all of those lights on. It says service engine soon. Don't know if that means, I don't know if the Optispark, whenever that goes out, does it show that, or not sure yet with these cars. Not too familiar with them, but I do smell the fuel, so I don't think it's the fuel pump. So now that we know it is not the spark plugs, what we're gonna have to do now is we're gonna have to start taking the car apart. We have to get the water pump out, then we're gonna have to get the balancer, and I mean just go from there. We still gotta take that Optispark out. I do see a lot of grime around it and just dirtiness, but we're gonna go ahead and start tearing it apart and see what we find once we get more clearance and all that to take everything out. Currently, I have the car on the jacks. I raised it up, that way I would be able to go down under the car and be able to drain all the fluids, because we are gonna be taking off the water pump, and we don't want everything splashing everywhere once we take off the hoses and all that. So what I did was I drained the there's a plug all the way at the bottom. Let me go ahead and show y'all. So that is the plug right there where it's leaking from, and there goes all the fluid. Looks real dirty. Don't know when's the last time the fluid was changed, but here goes the plug. That's what the plug looks like. You're gonna it's a twist off, so basically lefty loosey, righty tighty. And I did get it spilled everywhere, but I did have a mop around that way I could mop everything up. Wasn't too bad. So we got all that cleaned up. Everything's really drained out. Now the next thing that I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna go ahead and take off the throttle body, and I'm gonna try to see if I have that 6-star screw and all that. That way I could take that off, and then we'll go from. I might not even need to take these off. I think I'm gonna need to take those off, and once I take that off, I should have more access to the water pump, which is located here. Then once we take that water pump off, we should be able to take off, I guess it's the pulley at the bottom. Once you take off the pulley, you have access to the Optispark, and we'll go from there. But so far I just got the fluid changed, and I guess I'll take y'all along through the process. I won't be taking, giving instructions on how to do it. I'll just be doing a quick quick update on everything that I've done so far. Kind of giving you guys an idea of what I've done. But this isn't gonna be like a video on how to do this and how to do that. This is my first time doing it, so I'm gonna just take y'all along of what everything that I'm doing. On like I did earlier in the video, I did change the spark plugs. That wasn't the problem, so now we're gonna go ahead and move to the Optispark. I did read that it could be also, you also have your control mod. Finally got the throttle body off. I am gonna say the hardest part was taking off this hose right here from this plug. I guess it's been on there for so long and it got corroded, but here it is. I just could not get it off of it, but man, as you see here how dirty everything is. This car hasn't probably been ever clean since it left the showroom, which was 1995. So as you see there, the Optispark down there, all dirty and grimy. I got all the hoses off from the water pump already. We got the throttle body off. It's all dirty in there, as you see in the manifold. I would like to get some of that clean in there. Clean up all that once I get the water pump off and more access into the motor. But what I did leave on is this here. I don't want to take too much off that I'm not gonna need to, just because I might not know how to go back and put it all back together. I might not remember, but just trying to make it easy as possible on myself, and trying to get familiar with all this, that way if I ever have to do this again. Alright guys, so as I was trying to get the last bolt off the water pump, this thing gets in the way, and the last bolt is right there, as you see. And I stuck the socket and I had to get an extension, and I ran it through here. But what I did notice was that the socket had caught, the back of the socket had caught on this pulley right here. And as I was torquing it to come out, it was pulling this out also with it, and I didn't notice because I was torquing it from that side over there of the car. And so now, as it was getting harder and harder, I came to this side and I was trying to figure out what it was. I look at this and just look how uneven this is. See that? So now what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to take this off, this pulley, and exchange it with a new one, because I don't think you could bend this back to where it was. This does look like metal, and I haven't looked at prices yet, but it's gonna have to be another fix that I'm gonna have to do. So not only am I gonna have to do the Optispark, but I'm gonna have to change the pulley, and hopefully we don't run into any more problems. So it's gonna take a little bit of more time than I expected, but it's all a process. It's a project car, but I will continue. I don't know how I'm gonna take that off to get to that bolt. I'm gonna have to look it up, try to get some ideas of how to do that, but we'll continue right now. What I did was got the extension, which is this here extension, and I kind of wiggled it out a little bit, but I didn't unscrew it all the way, just because I know that pulley was gonna be there interfering again. So what I did was, once I got it loose, I took that off and I went from the bottom of the pulley with my finger and I touched the bolt, and from the top with a flat head I was kind of pushing it towards my finger and pushing it the way to unscrew it, if that makes sense. But I did get that bolt out, and finally I got the water pump out. That's what I currently just got done right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys my view right here and let y'all know. So here we got the water pump finally out, so go ahead and take this out. And I don't think this water pump has ever been pulled out, and I don't know if I am gonna exchange that, but as you see here, look how dirty and old this is. I am gonna look to see how much those cost. If they're not so expensive, might as well replace it. But look how dirty and grimy all this is. And there you go. There goes the Optispark. What we got to do next, we have to take this pulley off, take it out, and there you see the belt thrown to the side, and this is the pulley that we're gonna have to exchange out, which was a pain in the ass to get to that bolt right there. So now this here was connected, I believe, to the, if I'm not mistaken, that's the control module. And once we disconnected that, we were able to take the water pump out real good. And here you have it. This is, what is this? Don't know what this is called. Not too familiar with all this. This is my first time doing all this work myself and actually going in, not completely into the motor, but getting this far into it. So I'm gonna, alright guys, so I know I started this video a little bit late, but decided to take out the whole radiator. Was a bitch taking everything out just because of these 3 screws that are, they're basically, have it. Look how dirty that is right here. I did see inside and seen all that dirt, and I decided to just take everything off, go ahead and get everything cleaned up, make sure all the wiring, well, not the wiring, but the hoses, everything's good on it. The hardest screws that were the hardest to get off were these 3 right here. They're these 3 little small screws you got to take off. On your driver's side, you have to take off, I forgot what this is called, but I did unscrew it to be able to get through this little hole. This is your hose here that goes connected to the intake. And check it out. I made a little bit of mess down there, but look at all this that was collected, I guess, for so many years. Don't know when's the last time all this has been taken out, but now we got more room to work with. Sorry I didn't record the most of the process of taking all this off, but it was a last minute thing that I did. I didn't think that I was gonna have to take all this off, but once I seen all the garbage that was collected between all this, I did decide might as well take everything off since I already got everything here off. Now I'll probably have a little bit of more space to work with taking off the balancer. Now I got to take off the power steering pulley. After I take off the balancer, we'll be able to take off the Optispark. Another thing I did notice was the Optispark was already damaged. As you see here, this plug was already broken. I'm sure there was water leaking in through there, so wouldn't doubt now that it was the Optispark. So once we get the balancer out, you see I got a whole mess from taking out the radiator, but I do have all these hoses disconnected. The 2 hoses I didn't have to disconnect that I thought I was gonna have to was these 2, but didn't have to. So I came to the passenger side, took off where all the fluid drops to, and hopefully I do remember on how to put all this stuff back together. This is my first time getting into this car, basically this far deep into the car. But I am gonna get everything cleaned up perfect. If I do have to go over things with spray paint, I will, just to get everything cleaned up and looking right. I am gonna take off, I doubt I'll be able to take off this. I'll just get it all cleaned up, get everything vacuumed in there. And once I get everything cleaned up, I will take off. I'll start to clean. I do plan on cleaning most of this here, all this grime collected on the block. Once I get all that cleaned up, get the new Optispark on, pulley on, then I'll start to put all the radiator and everything back on. That way I'll just do everything step by step, get everything done the right way, everything cleaned up. Probably change some hoses if they do need to get changed out. Like say for instance, maybe these, as you see all that grime in there collected over the years. But it's all a process, guys. This is a project car. Later on, this will be a daily. That way I could stop using the Mustang every day, stop putting miles on that. But it is surprising to see how much stuff was collected over the years on this car. I didn't know that it was this nasty down there. But it's a good thing I did take everything apart. Now we could basically start everything, not from scratch, but now I'll know that everything, you know, is well taken care of down there now that it's in my hands. And I'll start taking precaution of everything on this car from now on, that it's mine. And we just got to take step by step, getting everything in place, getting everything done the right way. Alright guys, so that is going to be a wrap for today's video. I did get a lot done on the car that I wanted to get done. Sadly, we do have to replace that pulley now that I messed up, but it will get done. I still got to order the parts, see what I'm going to go with. I did find a pulley it was on eBay for about, I'm going to say 170, so that's not too bad. I'm going to go ahead and get that. We'll get the Optispark, and hopefully that's all that I got to replace other than the hose that I'm going to replace, just because they were so dirty and corroded. It could be an issue there, you know, something clogged in there or something. The car's pretty old, about 26 years old already. So we're going to end this video here, get started on the Vet another day, get everything cleaned up. I still got to find a way to take that balancer out. If you guys have any idea how to do that, go ahead and let me know in the comments. I know you got to get that tool that you could use from AutoZone, but I don't know if I'm going to have too much space, just because that metal bar is like literally right in front of the balancer. So what I was trying to do is get 2 sockets and put the socket in the middle one, and then the 3 bolts, you know, try to swing it to the other side, and hopefully it gets it loose, because you can't just do it like that, because then the whole thing would turn and it's impossible to get it out. But I was thinking maybe that tool from AutoZone wasn't going to be able to fit, but who knows? I haven't tried it. Maybe some of you guys have. But that's going to be a wrap for today's video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, hit that like, subscribe, and continue watching, and just keep supporting, guys. Thank you for the support.